everyone, I'm Olivia McGeary, a member of the class of 2020, and I would like to welcome you to Pine Richland's first virtual baccalaureate ceremony. Now this year has been a crazy year of lasts for our graduating seniors. We've experienced our last homecoming, our last football game, and even our last day of school. But this year, we've become the class of many firsts. First time using online schooling, first time taking AP tests online, and this evening, first time celebrating baccalaureate through our screens. With tonight's speakers and music, we hope to provide the class of 2020 an intimate opportunity to pause and reflect on the rite of passage that is upon us. Tonight, we honor the graduating seniors and look back over our 12 years together. Next on your screen will be a verse chosen and read by Mann.
Hey everyone, it's Will here. I hope you've been doing well at home and staying safe during the past couple months here when we've had the quarantine. Thanks for tuning into the Baccalaureate. I will be reading Proverbs chapter 3 verses 1 through 10, and I will give a short little reflection on my thoughts with it. My son, do not forget my teaching. Take to heart my commands, for many days and years of life and peace will they bring you. Do not let love and fidelity forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then will you win favor and esteem before God and human beings. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. On your own intelligence do not rely. In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will make straight your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. This will mean health for your flesh and vigor for your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with first fruits of all of your produce. Then will your barns be filled with plenty. With new wine, your vats will overflow. And the verse that stuck out to me the most within this passage is verse 6, and it says, "In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will make straight your paths." And I think part of the reason this stuck out to me the most was because of the uncertainty we're dealing with right now in the pandemic situation. We have academic uncertainties and social uncertainties, and of course financial uncertainties. And I think all of these uncertainties are just weighing on everybody and causing everybody to feel anxious and worried about the future. And I think it's important to remember from this passage that it says, if we're mindful of God, he will straighten our paths. And so the important question, I think, is how can we be more mindful of God? And my thought is by being in prayer more. And prayer can just be as simple as saying, hey God, here's something that I've been struggling with. Can you help me with it? Or, hey, thank you for today. It was a really good day, but here were the things that weren't so good about it. Or in the morning, waking up and saying, hey God, thank you for another day. He desires to have that conversation with you. And I think the more of that conversation you can have with God, then the more mindful you're being of him. Another way of being mindful of God is by being able to tell other people that you'll pray for them. So if somebody says that they're having a bad day, or you see somebody's having trouble with something, just say to them, hey, I'll keep you in my prayers. I hope it goes well next time for you, or I hope that you have a better day tomorrow. Let me know how it goes, things like that. And it'll bring them joy and happiness for you to say that. And they may not realize why what you said to them brings them so much joy and happiness in their times of trouble. But you can know that the reason that they had that joy from you is because you brought God to them. And that can help you and them be more mindful of God. And so when we're mindful of God, he will straighten our paths. But we have to remember that the paths that he straightens for us aren't always going to be the paths that we had in mind. And sometimes it might take a little bit of a sacrifice in order for us to realize why he picked that path for us. But no matter what, the path he picks for us, the path that he straightens for us, is going to be the best for us because we were made in his image and likeness, and he loves each and every one of us personally. Thanks for tuning in to the Baccalaureate. Hope you have a good night.
Good evening. I just want to start with saying thank you. for asking me to speak tonight. I am humbled and truly honored to be part of this special service. This year has provided us with some interesting challenges, but if there's one thing that I have learned and know about the class of 2020, it's that you are resilient. I've watched you support, encourage, and care for each other through times of grief and times of joy, handling every situation thrown your way. You've already faced some of the biggest challenges of your life. Like, I'm pretty sure spending the last 2 months of your senior year with your parents in quarantine wasn't on your bucket list. But again, you are resilient and strong, and you'll continue to make the best of it and be the stronger for it. It's simply what you do and who you are. When I was asked to speak, I was told to be inspirational. I have to be honest, I almost changed my mind at that point. You see, I don't consider myself to be inspirational or a great speaker. I'm just me, the youngest of 6 kids from a working class family who dreamt of being a star on Broadway. Seriously, it's not too late. I'm just waiting for my big break. Growing up in such a big family taught me that everyone has a role to play. There are leaders, followers, instigators, peacekeepers, and helpers. I, too, was given a lovely label in this household of 6. Can you guess what it was? Bet you can. Actually, I bet you can't. It was spoiled princess. I mean, really, who would have thought? Neither here nor there. But there are labels, roles, and judging going on all around us. Look at Oprah. They told her in high school that she talked too much. She turned out pretty good. Steve Jobs was the ultimate nerd, but look what he did. Despite being judged, labels don't define us. We get to do that. I became a helper at an early age. Helping at home, church, school, community, it fulfills me because it matters. Not to the extent that it benefits me, but it is a way to serve, to follow in Christ's footsteps. WWJD, if you will. What would Jesus do? The saying really resonated with me as a 20-something and has been the measure of my days since. So I'd like you to consider this. What will you do to live a life that matters? I asked my own children and some of you who they think has lived or lives a life that matters. Some of their answers were Walt Disney, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, Mother Teresa, and Malala Yousafzai. So what do these people all have in common? An entertainer and entrepreneur, a president, 2 civil rights leaders, and a nun. Sounds like a bad joke, but it's not. They all had a dream of spreading joy and laughter, of freedom, equality, of creating a world full of love and compassion. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be famous in order to live a life that matters. I actually have some personal additions to this list. They include my father, a World War II veteran, my grandmother, who was the first special education teacher in Butler County, and Kurt Johns, my middle school counselor and mentor. Bottom line, all of these people I mentioned put the welfare of others before themselves. I think we can all agree that our lives will matter most when we make an impact for Christ's sake and not for our own benefit. It's about our actions, not our accolades. So according to Andy Blanks, there are 3 ways to live a life that matters. And they are living with passion, humility, and purpose. So let's start with passion, and it's not what you think. Life after high school is a time of freedom and a time to enjoy being a kid before the responsibilities of life hit you. Family, mortgage, bills, work. Adulting is not fun, people. So do ridiculous things. Have fun. Be silly. Embrace your inner child and play. Sing poorly at the top of your lungs. Take a walk in the rain and jump in mud puddles. Live your life. Be passionate about living your life. Jesus said in John 10:10, I came so that they may have life and have it abundantly. Okay, so I'm guessing that the full life Jesus was talking about probably wasn't about skipping class, skydiving, or jumping in puddles. But I do think that salvation includes embracing the everyday awesomeness of our world. Find passion in the little things, like a shiny penny, a sunrise, sunset, holding the hand of someone you love. Whatever passion may mean to you, and live. The second is living a life with humility, and I think this is my favorite one. In Philippians chapter 2, Paul writes that even though Jesus was God's very son, Jesus made himself nothing, taking on the nature of a servant, humbling himself, and dying on the cross for us. Listen, if that kind of humility is good enough for Jesus, it should be good enough for us, right? I challenge you to put others' interests before your own. Be a servant. Do for others what no one else will. Care for the tired and the poor. In a world where the mantra is me first, be the change. Lead by example and put others before yourself. Remember, Jesus said, the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Be humble and kind. So what does humility look like in every day? It's actually pretty easy. A phone call to a friend, a card in the mail, a quick email to check in, helping an elderly neighbor or just visiting with them, sharing your gifts and talents with others, holding a door open, saying please, saying thank you, having an attitude of gratitude. And lastly, living your life with purpose. As children of God, we are called to serve. Sometimes God may ask us to go or do something we're not really comfortable with, like giving an inspirational speech, for example. I think we've all heard his voice in our hearts, but we don't always listen. Have the faith and courage to listen and do, to follow where God leads you. I think Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself. So, graduates, Matthew 5:17 says, "Let your light shine before all men, that they may see your good deeds and praise the Father in heaven." Graduating seniors, I challenge you to live a life that matters, to let your life be a radiant, shining light of God's love. Serve others by sprinkling kindness and love like confetti. Thank you all for allowing me to be a small part of your high school journey. I have loved every second of it. I wish each of you of a life full of passion, humility, and purpose, and lots of confetti. Congratulations, and God bless. Future is waiting.
Hello, everyone at home. I hope you are healthy and well. I'm not really sure how this is all being organized, so if someone introduced me, thank you. If not, I'm Thomas Andrews. For a little bit of background, I'm a member of the Pine Ridge Marching Band and Musical. Now, I'm telling you that because that's kind of where I want to start my reflection, whatever we're doing here. Band. We ended the season back in November and our last game was Hines. We made it down to Hines, and that was like really fun, and it was really close. We're so close to winning, and then we were thinking we'll go on and we're gonna go on to states, and that didn't happen. But after we lost, and we were upset, but we're like, you know what? We have the band trip. We'll be ready for the band trip. So that's what we were looking forward to. Similarly, musical, we put in 3-4 months of work, and we were all working so hard, and we had a lot of fun, bonded as a family. And whenever it came down to it, the weekend of performances, that's when we got the announcement that we're not going to be doing the performances that weekend. They might get postponed. All right, we'll be off 2 weeks, and then we'll come back, and in April we'll do it then. Okay, but that didn't happen. We only had the one show just for our parents, and we were happy to just have that. But why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because we can't predict the future. We can't say, I know that this is exactly going to happen, and I'm going to just wait around, and whenever that happens, it's going to be great. We can't predict that. Band, we thought that, okay, we're just going to have the band trip, don't worry about it, and we didn't realize that our last game would be Hines. Similarly, the musical, we really didn't realize that we weren't going to get to perform whenever we were supposed to perform. We didn't know that, and I don't want to say we didn't fully appreciate that, what we did and that event, but I think if we knew that it would be our last, or potentially last in the case of the musical, if we knew that it would be our last, we would have enjoyed it and performed just that much more. We did a great job in both of those times, but I think we would have appreciated it just a little bit more. So that's what I want to kind of reflect on right now. I'm kind of in the mindset of, okay, this is quarantine. It's really, we're not doing what we could be doing in our senior year. And I just want to hit home the fact that this should be a reflection time for all of us. We should realize that we don't know when it'll be the last band show or the last musical. We really don't. So what we should be doing, and what this all should make us realize, is that we should appreciate every single moment of our lives as though it were our last. I have this, since I'm at home, I can bring this. We have this little plate with a little reading here hanging up on the wall, and it says, look at everything as though you were seeing it for the first time or the last time. Then your time on earth will be filled with glory. I think that that's a great way to live our lives, and that's kind of, hard right now because there's not really anything to look at as if it's the last or the first time, except for breakfast and dinner and whatever else we're doing around the house. But it's not like we're having these great events that it's like, you know what, this is going to be my last band event, I have to appreciate it with all my... We don't have that right now. But whenever we get back on track, because we will get back on track, we need to start appreciating things just that much more. I think that, up till now, up till graduation, I think we can all say that there's been at least 1 or 2 times where we've taken something for granted, and, we haven't fully appreciated, that, hey, this was our last day of freshman year, or this was our last day of, sophomore year. It's simple, but we really take a lot of things for granted in our lives. And I just want to tell you all that this all should make us feel that much more engaged with our lives and look at everything as though it were the last time. Let's relate this to faith. We don't know when our last days on earth are. Memento mori, remember your death. We have to remember that there is a finite end to everything, and that if we don't live our lives as Christians to the best of our ability, then we haven't really fulfilled our true purpose here on earth. So that's really what I'm trying to say here. We need to be able to say, you know what, today is going to be the best day every day. And if we live our lives with that mentality, then we can feel much more fulfilled and serve others with that same mentality to say, you know what, this may be the last person I help. Then it make their day that much better. So if we can remember that everything comes to an end at some point, we should be able to go forth from here on out and live as though every moment were our last and be much better because of it. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of the baccalaureate.
Hi, my name is Enyo Akwayena, and I will be reading Psalms 23 for the second scripture reading. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures, he leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all of the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is one of my favorite psalms because it just reassures me that God is always with me, and with him I lack nothing, and he always just has our best interests at heart. I will now be introducing our keynote speaker, Jonathan J. Faltot from Northway Christian Community. He is the Student Ministry Director, and I've had the privilege of knowing him the past 3 years. JJ has been such a role model for me in growing in my faith, and I just want to thank him for everything, and he just loves others and Jesus so well. So yeah, let's give it up for JJ.
Thank you, Enyo, very much for introducing me. I am so honored to be here with all of you today. So if I had to ask you one question, it would be this. What are you looking forward to most when all this COVID-19 stuff is over? What are you looking forward to most? And maybe for some of you, you're going to college. You're excited about finding new friends. Maybe you're looking forward to getting a degree or getting a job or an internship. Maybe you're just looking forward to, sorry, mom and dad, just getting out of the house. Or maybe you're like my girlfriend who's real excited about being able to shop at TJ Maxx again, finally. She was just frustrated that she couldn't even try on clothes at Target. I'm sure that has been rough for some of us. So what are you looking forward to next? And when we talk about things like this, I want to talk about hope. Because that's really what we have for the future. When I sit here and I speak to all of you, it's in a weird spot. I can't necessarily see all of you, but you are our future. And one of the biggest things I love about working in student ministry is I believe you're not just the future, you are now. And so congratulations to Pine Richland Class of 2020. We are so excited for all of you. But keep thinking about that question is, what am I excited about? When we talk about hope, we often want to say, well, it's just wishful thinking. When I was in high school, I would always hope that we had chicken nuggets for lunch or tomato soup and grilled cheese. Those were incredible lunches. So I hoped for that to happen. But that doesn't mean I always got what I wished for, or in this case, hoped. And what I would like to do with you, class of 2020, is just to challenge you of what hope is, and more importantly, what God says hope is. You see, whenever I was going into my sophomore year of college, I was full of anticipation as to what is next. I was excited because I had developed a great group of friends. I had become a Christian when I was 18. I didn't necessarily grow up in a super strong Christian home, but I did. But my faith became more real to me whenever I was 18 as a freshman. I was getting good grades. I was excited about my sophomore year. But the thing I was looking forward to most was running track and field. You see, my brothers and I, we were always super athletic. We were good at sports, and we were definitely very good runners. We were fast. And that's something I always prided myself on. And knowing entering into this year, I was probably going to be one of the best runners on the team. So I've been training for this. I've been looking forward to this all year. I'm full of what I would call hope. I am placing it in something. I'm wishfully thinking about this. So March rolls around. I begin to go to track meets. At the end of every single meet, I begin to get this pain on the inside of my calves. Now, this being completely foreign to me, I had never been injured before. And what I'm discovering is this is making me run slower. And it hurts. So I'll just pop some ibuprofen. Maybe that'll fix this. Nothing. I go to visit my trainer. He tells me I have shin splints. Tells me it's pretty common, actually. I'm like, pretty common? I've never had this before. My brothers have never had this. We jump and run around all over the place. How do I have shin splints? And as the meets went on, I thought I could push through it, and lo and behold, it made me slower and just caused more pain. My trainer told me it was probably best for me to sit out the year. And at that moment, I was absolutely devastated. The thing I've been looking forward to most was just completely gone. It had vanished from my life. Just for a split second that year, it was gone. And I think that's pretty normal. Many of you this spring had things to look forward to, and all of a sudden they're all gone and you're disappointed. That's pretty normal to feel that way. But not only did I go through that, but I also had what I would call some kind of identity crisis. What would people view me as if I can't do a sport right now? I'm supposed to be the athletic guy, the one who's one of the best athletes on his team. People won't respect me. They won't know who I am. I'm sure if you didn't get to go to prom this year, you weren't wondering who you were. Maybe if you were, that's okay. But man, my heart goes out to athletes or anybody who had anything canceled this spring and summer. But when that happened to me, I realized I was putting so much of my heart and my value and mostly my hope in something that is not eternal. And whenever it was swept out from under me, I wondered, who was I? And I felt lost. So let me ask you this question again. What is that for you? What is it that you're hoping in that you feel like that's going to define me? That will make people recognize me. This will change everything. Maybe it's really good grades. You're going to crush college. Maybe it's getting out of mom and dad's house and just setting a blazing path for yourself. Because, right, your truth is the best truth. At least that's what kids are saying now. I don't know. My truth, it's all the rage. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you just want to crush it in sports and just achieve after achieve, get an amazing job, make loads of money, meet that super beautiful girl, meet that super handsome boy. What is it for you that you're really hoping in next? What is your wishful thinking? Because there is a better place, even the best place, that you are meant to put your hope in, and actually your heart. This came from our reading actually earlier today, and it's in Proverbs 3. And so we already read this today, but I'm going to take a middle portion of that and just talk about it, and then we'll cap this off for all of you. It says this in Proverbs 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will direct your paths. You see, this may not say the word hope, but what it's saying is I'm placing my trust, I'm placing my heart into something fully. And whenever I placed my heart and my trust into something like sports or a girl or a boy or even achievements or trying to work so hard that they'll name the building after you or whatever it is for you, when that thing is swept out from under you, you do not know who you are, even where you are. In fact, I will say this. Show me where you place your hope, and I will show you who you will become and where you will be in life. You see, it's a lot like this. Many ships have anchors. I'm not a naval kind of guy, but I'm assuming a lot of ships have anchors, and when they put them down, they're supposed to go in a solid place, aka the bottom of the ocean. Because that way, whenever a sea begins to rage or winds come, the ship moves, but not very much. But what we do whenever we put our hope in things that aren't the person of Jesus, we put our anchor in something that moves and something that is not solid. So let's say you put your anchor in something like sports like I did, or you put your anchor in a person. And that person is not God. That person is not going to always be perfect. And when things get rough for you, your ship just moves. Because it is not placed in a solid foundation. And that is one of the most beautiful things about our faith, class of 2020, is that we have this God who gives us such a strong hope, not just that he is strong, but you can be strong too. And that's what hope actually is. It's saying that I am placing all of my trust, all of my heart into God. And from that place, I trust in his strength, not my own. Not my ability to achieve, not my ability to be great, not my ability just to be amazing, because all of you are amazing and all of you are going to do good things. But it won't be perfect. But there is a God who is perfect, and he is the solid hope in which you can place all your heart and trust in. So how do we do that? There's one word in the verse that sticks out to me. Seek. You have to seek God. That shows where your heart is. That shows where your hope is. So when you go to college, or when you move out of your parents' house, or whatever next stage of life or season you're going into, find good friends. Find people who are going to love Jesus and encourage you to be a great man and woman. Find a good church. Find time to make God one of the biggest priorities of your life, if not the only big priority of your life. Seek him. That's how you know where your heart is. That's how you know where you will find where your hope is. Love you guys. So thankful for this opportunity. Congratulations again, class of 2020. God bless all of you.
Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you your family, your children, their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations. Your family and your children and their children and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations. Your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, around you and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming, in your going, in your leaving, in the rejoicing. He is for you. He is for you. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
Hello, my name is Joshua Lukez, and I just want to say thank you first of all to my peers for assisting in the creation of this baccalaureate ceremony, as well as a few things before we close in prayer and leave this virtual baccalaureate ceremony. Well, we've done it. We've reached the end of our high school journey, and what a journey it has been. Culminating in a way that we really didn't expect it to. I believe I speak for everyone in saying that it doesn't feel like it's over. From all things we couldn't do, such as prom, school trips, school musicals, art shows, band, choir, or orchestra concerts, having people sign yearbooks, spring sports, spring sporting events, spring events in general, banquets, the list goes on. These are all things you look forward to when you become a senior. Even the fact that this last quarter doesn't feel the same as it would have been if we were in the physical school building. That feeling of resolution and apprehension as the seniors get ready to leave and pursue their next goals. I remember people saying that they couldn't wait to leave school, and they wished the year was over already. And now they're wishing that they didn't leave school, that they had more time at Pine Richland, more time with their friends, more time with the teachers that, for the past 4 years, have made such an impact on their lives. The reality is, we didn't get the closure that we thought we would, and we may never will. It's hard to believe that after all the hard work we put in from freshman year, so when we were stressed out being the small fish in the big new pond, to junior year worries of the SAT, AP exams, difficult courses, so we could impress the colleges we were applying to even now, in what is meant to be a more relaxed year, where you make memories and enjoy the time you have left at Pine Richland. It's not what we thought it would be, nor what it turned out to be. Even the baccalaureate is virtual this year, and physical graduation is uncertain. Besides this, however, I have personally seen the amazing resilience on display throughout the class of 2020. In spite of these tumultuous times, and in spite of every barrier that's been put up against us as we've made it to the end of the year. While it may not have been easy, we have thrown ourselves into Christ, and we trust He has a plan for all of us. As we forge ahead into this path we are following, be it college, the military, trade school, a job, a gap year, or seminary, I know that He'll be with us along the way. This year is definitely one to remember and will not soon be forgotten, nor easily forgotten. Just as in John chapter 20, verses 19 through 23, in which the disciples are hiding in the upper room, we are hiding in our proverbial upper rooms until we're allowed to resume our normal lives again. However, in this hiding, Jesus appears to them and tells them, "Peace be upon you." In an instant, they forget their fears and rejoice in the Lord. We are called to experience the joys of the apostles, even in these times of trouble and doubt. Christ tells us himself that he will be with us until the end of the age. With all the things that have been taken away from us, I encourage you to remember that no one can take away the pride that you have for completing and graduating from Pine Richland High School. Nor can they take away the experiences and memories you have built for yourself and with others along the journey. That being said, I encourage you to keep up the relationships that you have built and spent so much time forging these past 4 years. The Latin phrase, transit umbra luxus permanet, which means shadow passes, light remains, comes to mind as a theme for our year. As much as this and all is all sad and we feel as if we've been slighted out of our senior year, we need to remember that it is a passing thing. As stated in John chapter 8, verse 12, again, Jesus spoke to them saying, "I am the light of the world. Whomever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." We are called to place all our trust in Christ as we follow this path laid before us. And if we follow the path laid before us, I truly believe God shall not lead us astray. Now, for closing prayer and final remarks. Our light, our Christ, we greet you. Our dawn, our Lord, we fall before you, and with Magdalene we cry, Master, open our minds to cherish this word of hope. Death itself has been mastered, conquered, done away. Fear is driven out by the conquering love, and in freedom each believer stands before you. Washed by your pains, we rise up by your joy. With your apostles, we race to the open tomb, whose emptiness fills the whole world. We see with eyes of faith your empty burial shroud. Hear the whispers of the angels saying, "He has risen." Our hope, our Jesus, we meet you. Our Master, our friend, we know you, and hope is ours forever. Lord, please send your Spirit upon the class of 2020 as we follow the path you lay before us. Strengthened by your love, we go ever onward, assured in the belief that you are in control of all things. We would like to give a special thank you to the Thursday morning student prayer group for their leadership and commitment, as well as to the teachers who participated and sponsored, as well as to the Pine Richland Tech team, Bill Clack and Steve Karpinski, for the production of this event. Community Moms in Prayer for sponsoring this event and making it all possible. All participants, students, parents, community members, and our PR family. And to Mrs. Bowman and the PR administration for their support of the class of 2020 and all that they have done. May the Lord be with you, and my sincerest congratulations and well wishes as you go into this next stage of your lives. Thank you.